Aitara Upanishad Om. May my speech be based on the mind, may my mind be based on speech. O self-effulgent one, reveal thyself to me. May you both, speech and mind, be the carriers of the Veda to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. I shall join together, obliterate the difference of day and night through the study. I shall utter what is verbally true, I shall utter what is mentally true. May that, Brahman, protect me, may that protect the speaker, the teacher, may that protect me, may that protect the speaker, may that protect the speaker. Om. Peace. 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 In the beginning this was but the Absolute Self alone. There was nothing else whatsoever that winked. He thought, let me create the worlds. He created these world, viz. Amhas, Marisai, Mara, Appa. That which is beyond heaven is Amhas. Heaven is its support. The sky is Marisai. The earth is Mara. The worlds that are below are the Appa. He thought, these then are the worlds. Let me create the protectors of the worlds. Having gathered up a lump of the human form from the water itself, he gave shape to it. He deliberated with regard to him, Virat of the human form. As he, Virat, was being deliberated on, his mouth parted, just as an egg does. From the mouth emerged speech, from speech came fire. The nostrils parted, from the nostrils came out the sense of smell, from the sense of smell came vayu, air. The two eyes parted, from the eyes emerged the sense of sight, from the sense of sight came the sun. The two ears parted, from the ears came the sense of hearing, from the sense of hearing came the directions. The skin emerged, from the skin came out hair, the sense of touch associated with hair, from the sense of touch came the herbs and trees. The heart took shape, from the heart issued the internal organ, mind, from the internal organ came the moon. The navel parted, from the navel came out the organ of ejection, from the organ of ejection issued death. The seat of the procreative organ parted, from that came the procreative organ, from the procreative organ came out water. These deities, that had been created, fell into this vast ocean. He subjected him to hunger and thirst. They said to him, to the Creator, provide an abode for us, staying where we can eat food. For them he, Ishvar, brought a cow. They said, this one is not certainly adequate for us. For them he brought a horse. They said, this one is not certainly adequate for us. For them he brought a man. They said this one is well formed, man indeed is a creation of God himself. To them he said, enter into your respective abodes. Fire entered into the mouth taking the form of the organ of speech, air entered into the nostrils assuming the form of the sense of smell, the sun entered into the eyes as the sense of sight, the directions entered into the ears by becoming the sense of hearing, the herbs and trees entered into the skin in the form of hair, the sense of touch, the moon entered into the heart in the shape of the mind, death entered into the navel in the form of apana, the vital energy that presses down. Water entered into the limb of generation in the form of semen, the organ of procreation. To him hunger and thirst said, provide for us, some abode. To them he said, I provide your livelihood among these very gods, I make you share in their portions. Therefore when oblation is taken up for any deity whichsoever, hunger and thirst become verily sharers with that deity. He thought, this, then, are the senses and the deities of the senses. Let me create food for them. He deliberated with regard to the water. From the water, thus brooded over, evolved a form. The form that emerged was verily food. This food, that was created, turned back and attempted to run away. He tried to take it up with speech. He did not succeed in taking it up through speech. If he had succeeded in taking it up with the speech, then one would have become contented merely by talking of food. He tried to grasp that food with the sense of smell. He did not succeed in grasping it by smelling. If he had succeeded in grasping it by smelling, then everyone should have become contented merely by smelling food. He wanted to take up the food with the eye. He did not succeed in taking it up with the eye. If he had taken it up with the eye, then one would have become satisfied by merely seeing food. He wanted to take up the food with the ear. He did not succeed in taking it up with the ear. If he had taken it up with the ear, then one would have become satisfied by merely by hearing of food. He wanted to take it up with the sense of touch. He did not succeed in taking it up with the sense of touch. If he had taken it up with touch, then one would have been satisfied merely by touching food. He wanted to take it up with the mind. He did not succeed in taking it up with the mind. If he had taken it up with the mind, then one would have become satisfied by merely thinking of food. He wanted to take it up with the procreative organ. He did not succeed in taking it up with the procreative organ. If he had taken it up with the procreative organ, then one would have become satisfied by merely ejecting food. He wanted to take it up with apana. He caught it. This is the devourer of food. That vital energy which is well known as dependent of food for its subsistence is this vital energy, called apana. He thought, how indeed can it be there without me? He thought, through which of the two ways should I enter? He thought, if utterance is done by the organ of speech, smelling by the sense of smell, seeing by the eye, hearing by the ear, feeling by the sense of touch, thinking by the mind, the act of drawing in, or pressing down, by apana, ejecting by the procreative organ, then who, or what, am I? Having split up this very end, he entered through this door. This entrance is known as Vidriti, the chief entrance. Hence it is delightful. Of him there are three abodes, three states of dream. This one is an abode, this one is an abode. This one is an abode. Being born, he manifested all the beings, for did he speak of, or know, anything else? He realized this very Purusha as Brahman, the most pervasive, thus, I have realized this. Therefore his name is Idandra. He is verily known as Idandra. Although he is Idandra, they call him indirectly Indra, for the gods are verily fond of indirect names, the gods are verily fond of indirect names. In man indeed is the soul first conceived. That which is the semen is extracted from all the limbs as their vigor. He holds that self of his in his own self. When he sheds it into his wife, then he procreates it. That is its first birth. That becomes non-different from the wife, just as much as her own limb is. Therefore, the foetus does not hurt her. She nourishes the self of his that has entered here, in her womb. She, the nourisher, becomes fit to be nourished. The wife bears that embryo, before the birth. He, the father, protects the son at the very start, soon after his birth. That he protects the son at the very beginning, just after birth, thereby he protects his own self for the sake of the continuance of these worlds. For thus is the continuance of these worlds ensured. That is his second birth. This self of his, the son, is substituted, by the father, for the performance of virtuous deeds. Then this other self of his, that is the father of the son, having got his duties ended and having advanced in age, departs. As soon as he departs, he takes birth again. That is his, the son's, third birth. This fact was stated by the seer, Mantra even while lying in the womb, I came to know of the birth of all the gods. 100 iron citadels held me down. Then, like a hawk, I forced my way through by dint of knowledge of the self. Vamadeva said this while still lying in the mother's womb. He who had known thus, had become identified with the Supreme, and attained all desirable things, even here, and having, then, ascended higher up after the destruction of the body, he became immortal, in the world of the self. He became immortal. What is it that we worship as this self? Which of the two is the self? Is it that by which one sees, or that by which one hears, or that by which one smells odor, or that by which one utters speech, or that by which one tastes the sweet or the sour? It is this heart, intellect, and this mind that were stated earlier. It is sentience, rulership, secular knowledge, presence of mind, retentiveness, sense perception, fortitude, thinking, genius, mental suffering, memory, ascertainment resolution, life activities, hankering, passion and such others. All these verily are the names of consciousness. This one is, the inferior, Brahman, this is Indra, this is Prajapati, this is all these gods, and this is these five elements, earth, air, space, water, fire, and this is all these, big creatures, together with the small ones, that are the procreators of others and referable in pairs, to wit, those that are born of eggs, of wombs, of moisture of the earth, viz. Horses, cattle, men, elephants, and all the creatures that there are which move or fly and those which do not move. All these have consciousness as the giver of their reality, all these are impelled by consciousness, the universe has consciousness as its eye and consciousness is its end. Consciousness is Brahman. Through this self that is consciousness, he ascended higher up from this world, and getting all desires fulfilled in that heavenly world, he became immortal, he became immortal. Om. May my speech be based on, accord with, the mind, may my mind be based on speech. O self-effulgent one, reveal thyself to me. May you both, speech and mind, be the carriers of the Veda to me. May not all that I have heard depart from me. I shall join together, obliterate the difference of, day and night through the study. I shall utter what is verbally true, I shall utter what is mentally true. May that, Brahman, protect me, may that protect the speaker, the teacher, may that protect me, may that protect the speaker, may that protect the speaker. Om. Peace. 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 The worlds before creation, all that existed was the self alone. Nothing else was. Then the self thought, let me send forth the worlds. He sent forth these worlds, Amhas, the highest world, above the sky and upheld by it, Marishi, the sky, Mara, the mortal world, the earth, and Apa, the world beneath the earth. Several times in the Upanishads we are told that when nothing else existed, Brahman was, and from Brahman proceeded all the worlds. But in these opening verses of the Aitareya Upanishad the word Atman, self, is used instead of Brahman. This is fitting for two reasons: first, because Brahman is the ultimate self of all. Second, because what occurred on the cosmic level in relation to Brahman has occurred on the microcosmic level with each one of us, with each individual self that has entered into the field of relative existence. Just as the various worlds or lokas have emanated from Brahman, so the several bodies or koshas have emanated from the individual self. The Upanishad lists 4 worlds that are also levels of existence. Amhas is the highest world. It lies beyond the material realm. Marishi is space itself, in which many suns and planets are to be found. For this reason, the Upanishad uses the plural term Marikais, but it is correct to use the singular word since it means the entire cosmos. Mara is not just planet Earth, but any planet on which sentient beings live. Mara means death, and it is applied to the planets because all beings that live there are mortal. Apa is the name of the submaterial regions from which atomic matter rises. These worlds have a more metaphysical meaning as well. Amhas is the causal world, Marishi is the astral world, Mara is the physical world, and Apa is the region where those of low evolution go for a time after death, usually in a kind of sleep. In later Indian cosmology, the non-material worlds are divided into those that are beneath the earth plane and those that are above the earth plane. The realms beneath are the regions where animals and low-evolved humans go between incarnations. These worlds include the negative regions we call hells. Apa embraces all these. The realms above are where normal human beings go between lives, and include the world humans graduate into when they no longer need evolution on the material place. These are the astral and causal worlds, Marishi and Amhas. The worlds have a psychological meaning, as well. Amhas is the superconscious mind, Marishi is the higher intelligence, or Buddhi, Mara is the sensory, earth-centered mind or consciousness, and Apa is the subconscious mind. These classifications particularly apply to the individual self of each one of us. Their guardians, he thought, behold the worlds. Let me now send forth their guardians. Then he sent forth their guardians, he thought, behold these worlds and the guardians of these worlds. Let me send forth food for the guardians. Then he sent forth food for them. The word used here for guardians is Lokapala. A Lokapala is the ruler or custodian of a world, Loka. At the beginning of creation, each world was assigned an overseer or guardian. These are beings who have evolved to the status of gods and sometimes are mistaken for the absolute by those within those worlds whose understanding is imperfect. Nevertheless, to approach them is beneficial, for they will themselves reveal their limited nature and point questing souls to Brahman the infinite. The Lokapalas are like gardeners, for they work with living things and their development as well as their safety. Actually, the picture of Adam in the Bible is very similar. He was to supervise and foster all forms of life, plant and animal. Many ancient scriptures contain partial or garbled accounts that were once expositions of wisdom. But the centuries have altered and even eroded them. The Upanishad is speaking of the beginning of things. So immediately after the manifestation of the worlds, the Lokapalas were awakened and made aware of their assignments, for their work is part of their personal evolutionary process. It is this work and the furnishings of the worlds that are their food. Now the same thing happens with us. We are the custodians of our private worlds or bodies. And our experiences through those bodies and the development we gain are our food, just as it is for the Lokapalas. Entering the worlds, he thought, how shall there be guardians and I have no part in them? If, without me, speech is uttered, breath is drawn, eye sees, ear hears, skin feels, mind thinks, sex organs procreate, then what am I? He thought, let me enter the guardians. Whereupon, opening the center of their skulls, he entered. The door by which he entered is called the door of bliss. This narrative is more instructive than literally accurate. First of all, there is nothing that is not a manifestation of Brahman. It is not possible for Brahman to enter into anything, for it is always everywhere. But the Upanishad is teaching us as we teach children, piecemeal and partially. The idea here is that Brahman is enlivening and enabling all beings, from the Lokapalas down to the least evolved of sentient beings. These two verses are more individual than cosmic, however, and refer to us mostly. Our Lokapalas are the various faculties of the mind that administer the different levels of our being as humans. Brahman is, as I said, always present, but this verse speaks of the entry of the individual consciousness into the human complex when it incarnates as a human being. The self enters through the psychic center or energy whirl called the Brahmarandra, the aperture of Brahman, and from there administers its private cosmos, a god within its finite universe. According to yogis, when we leave our body we go out through the gate, chakra, that corresponds to our dominant state of consciousness. Those who are depart through the Brahmarandra. Others leave through the lower centers. Within the three states of consciousness, the self being unknown, all three states of the soul are but dreaming, waking, dreaming, and dreamless sleep. In each of these dwells the self. The I is his dwelling place while we wake, the mind is his dwelling place while we dream, the lotus of the heart is his dwelling place while we sleep the dreamless sleep. This is quite simple. If the self is not known, then even our waking is only a sleeping and dreaming. There is a lot of going around and around about the question of the reality of the world. But the Upanishad gives us a quite simple answer. To those that sleep, not knowing the self, the world is unreal. To those that are awake in the knowledge of the self, the world is real, for the world is the self. This is the frame of reference Buddha had when, meeting a Brahmin after his liberation, when the Brahmin asked, "Who are you?" he replied, "I am awake." Therefore, having entered into the guardians, he identified himself with them. He became many individual beings. Now, therefore, if an individual awake from his threefold dream of waking, dreaming, and dreamless sleep, he sees no other than the self. He sees the self dwelling in the lotus of his heart as Brahman, omnipresent, and he declares, I know Brahman. This is both the beginning and the end. More on the self. The four closing verses of the Upanishad need little comment. They begin, who is the self whom we desire to worship? Of what nature is this self? Is he the self by which we see form, hear sound, smell odor, speak words, and taste the sweet or the bitter? Is he the heart and the mind by which we perceive, command, discriminate, know, think, remember, will, feel, desire, breathe, love, and perform other like acts? Nay, these are but adjuncts of the self, who is pure consciousness. This is extremely important for us, since it is only natural that we would mistake these various faculties for the self, for they are functions of consciousness, though not consciousness itself. And this self, who is pure consciousness, is Brahman. He is God, all gods, the five elements earth, air, fire, water, ether, all beings, great or small, born of eggs, born from the womb, born from heat, born from soil, horses, cows, men, elephants, birds, everything that breathes, the beings that walk and the beings that walk not. The reality behind all these is Brahman, who is pure consciousness. This takes us a very necessary step further. Even those things that are not Brahman itself in the purest sense, in another sense are Brahman and to be regarded as such. This is a bit like telling us to go two ways at the same time, something impossible for the ordinary mind, but quite easy, and natural, for the yogi's mind. All these have consciousness as the giver of their reality, all these are impelled by consciousness prajna, the universe has consciousness as its I, and consciousness is its end. Consciousness is Brahman. Surely the Upanishads are unparalleled in their beauty and profound teaching. All these, while they live, and after they have ceased to live, exist in him. The sage Vamadeva, having realized Brahman as pure consciousness, departed this life, ascended into heaven, obtained all his desires, and achieved immortality. And so shall we.